What does apple season mean to you? If you're like me, during harvest season, you carry out pan after pan of scraps to your compost pile. Love my pollinators, that's almost number one. But there's more to using these scraps. Today, I'm going to teach you how to make apple cider vinegar from the scraps. Isn't that awesome? Let's do it.
First, let's talk quickly about what's actually happening in that jar. Vinegar making is a two-stage fermentation process. In stage one, natural yeasts convert the sugars in your apples into alcohol. That's right, you're essentially making hard cider first. In stage two, beneficial bacteria called acetobacter move in and convert that alcohol into acetic acid. That's what gives vinegar its signature tang. For both stages to work, you need three things. Oxygen, that's why we use a cloth cover, never a tight lid. The right temperature, keep it between 60 and 80 degrees Fahrenheit. And daily stirring during the early phase to help things along. You might have heard about the mother of vinegar. That's the jelly-like, sometimes film-like blob that forms on top during fermentation. It's actually just cellulose created by those acetobacter bacteria. It's completely harmless and pretty cool, although it looks kind of weird. We'll talk more about using it in the Making Apple Cider Vinegar with the Mother video coming soon. Here's what you'll need for this method. Apple cores and peels, enough to fill your jar about halfway. I'm using sterilized wide-mouth quart jars today, but you can scale this up or down. Non-chlorinated water. Filtered or spring water works great. Sugar, about 1 tablespoon per cup of water. A glass jar. Quart or larger with wide mouth is great, so you can get the weights in the top. A piece of breathable cloth, cheesecloth, coffee filter, or clean dish towel. Rubber band or jar ring to secure the cloth. Something to weigh down these scraps. A small glass weight, clean rock, or smaller jar works for this. First, I'm packing my apple scraps into the jar. Make sure they're clean. Give them a rinse if needed. I sterilized my jar so there is less chance of failure later. Now, fill the jar about halfway. Don't pack them in too tight. You want some room for movement and for the liquid to circulate. See how I've got a nice mix of peels and cores? That's perfect. Now, I'm dissolving my sugar in water. For this quart jar with this amount of scraps, I'm using about 2 to 3 tablespoons of sugar in 3 cups of water. That works out to roughly 1 tablespoon per cup. Stir until it's completely dissolved. You want that sugar available for the yeast right away. Let this cool down to room temperature. Hot water will kill the natural yeast we need. You can speed this up by using half hot water to dissolve the sugar, then adding cold water to cool it down. Now pour it over your scraps until they're completely covered. This is really important. Any scraps exposed to air can develop mold, and we definitely don't want that. This is where your weight comes in. I'm placing a small glass canning jar weight right on top to keep everything submerged. You can get creative here. A small jar filled with water, or even a clean rock in a Ziploc bag works. Finally, cover with your cloth, or in my case, a double coffee filter, and secure it with a rubber band or jar ring. This lets oxygen in, which we need, but keeps bugs, dust, and fruit flies out. Trust me, fruit flies love this stuff. For the next 2 weeks, you're in what I call the yeast phase. Here's what you need to do and what to expect. Give your jar a good stir once a day, perhaps in the morning with your coffee. Just give it a swirl or use a wooden spoon to stir everything around. Within a few days, you should start seeing small bubbles. That's the yeast waking up and getting to work. The liquid might get cloudy. That's totally normal. By the end of the first week, it should be actively bubbling and you'll start to smell alcohol. It'll smell like hard cider or beer. That's exactly what you want. It might not be strong, but that slight alcohol smell tells you stage 1 is working. Keep your jar in a spot that stays between 60 and 80 degrees. Too cold and nothing happens. Too warm and you might get off flavors or the wrong bacteria. I keep mine on my kitchen counter away from direct sunlight.
It is day 7 of my apple cider vinegar project. I see there are beautiful bubbles. I do have to stir it up yet this morning, but I want to show you the bubbles before I did that. This one not so much, but this one's beautiful. It's got so much action. Look at it. Look at it. Go up to the top when you stir it.
Around day 14, give or take a few days, it's time to strain. Set up a fine mesh strainer or cheesecloth over a clean bowl. Pour your ferment through and then really squeeze those scraps to get all that liquid out. Don't be shy. You worked hard for this stuff. These spent scraps can go right into your compost pile or to your chickens if you have them. They'll be alcohol soaked, so your chickens might act a little funny. A bit of entertainment for your day. Look at that beautiful peachy colored liquid. You can already smell the alcohol in it. This is basically hard cider at this point. Pour your strained liquid into a clean jar. Now here's the important part. Cover it with cloth again, or those covers that I used, not a tight lid. We're moving into phase 2 and we still need that oxygen flow.
Day 16 with my apple cider vinegar. Let me tell you, this stuff smells like hooch.
Welcome to stage 2. This is where those acetobacter bacteria convert your alcohol into acetic acid, real vinegar. You don't need to stir daily anymore, but I still gave mine a stir a few times a week. Every 2 to 3 days works great. Over the next several weeks, you're going to see some changes. The liquid might get a bit cloudier at first. You might see tiny particles floating around. That's normal. Around week 3 or 4, you might see something really cool and gross all at the same time. A film or jelly-like blob forming on the surface. Don't panic. This is the mother of vinegar I mentioned earlier. It looks weird, kind of like a jelly disc or a film, but it's actually a sign that everything is working perfectly. Some batches form a thick mother, some form a thin film, and some don't form one at all. All 3 outcomes are fine. The mother is just the bacteria being visible. If you don't see one, the bacteria are still doing their thing anyway. Start tasting around week 4. Just dip a clean spoon in and taste a little. At first, it will still taste kind of alcoholic with just a hint of tang. Each week, taste again. You'll notice that alcohol flavor fading and the vinegar tang increasing. When it's got that sharp, tangy vinegar taste you're looking for, the kind that makes your mouth pucker a little, it's ready. Congratulations, you've made vinegar from scraps. How cool is that? Now you have 2 options for finishing your vinegar. Option 1, raw and living. You can bottle it as is, keeping it raw and alive. If you have a mother, you can leave some in your bottle or save it separately for your next batch. I like to keep mine in a small jar with a bit of vinegar covering it. Store your raw vinegar in a cool, dark place. A pantry or cupboard is perfect. It'll continue to develop flavor over time, and you might even form a new mother in the bottle. That's totally fine.
They say you can use this in your probiotic drinks. I think you're a way braver person than me if you're going to put that in anything that you're drinking.
Option 2. If you want a more stable product that won't continue fermenting, you can pasteurize it. Heat your vinegar gently. Use a double boiler or a pot of vinegar in a water bath to 140 to 160 degrees Fahrenheit. Hold it at that temperature for 30 minutes. Don't boil it. Just keep it in that range. Then let it cool and bottle it up. This stops all fermentation and gives you vinegar that will just stay consistent on the shelf. Or you can do half raw and half pasteurized. Raw for your daily use and pasteurized for gifts or longer storage. Let's talk about a few things you might encounter. If you see a matte, chalky-looking white film on top, but it's not fuzzy, that's called palm yeast. It's not dangerous or harmful. It can make your vinegar taste a little off, but it's not going to hurt you. If your vinegar just isn't getting tangy after 6 to 8 weeks, here's what to check. Temperature. Is it too cold? Move it to a warmer spot in that 60 to 80 degree range. Oxygen. Are you stirring regularly? Is it covered with a cloth, not a lid? Did stage 1 work? Did you ever smell alcohol? If not, the yeast phase might not have happened. You can try adding a splash of raw apple cider vinegar with mother to jumpstart it. If you see fuzzy mold or colored patches, green, black, or pink, that's actual mold, and unfortunately, you need to dump that batch and start over. Mold usually means something wasn't fully submerged or your equipment wasn't clean enough. It happens to everyone eventually. Don't feel bad. Just wash everything well, make sure you weight those scraps down properly, and try again. However, and this is a big however, do not use homemade vinegar for canning. When you make vinegar at home, you have no way to know the exact acidity. It might be 3%, 5%, 6%. You just don't know without laboratory testing. For canning pickles, salsas, chutneys, or any other preserved foods, you absolutely must have vinegar that's at least 5% acidity. That 5% acidity level is what keeps dangerous bacteria like botulism from growing. Botulism can kill you, and it doesn't mess around. For canning, always use store-bought vinegar that's clearly labeled 5% acidity or 50 grain. Those mean the same thing, and the acidity is tested and guaranteed. Use your gorgeous homemade vinegar for salad dressings, marinades, drinking tonics, hair rinses, cleaning, anywhere you'd normally use vinegar. Or use it in vinaigrettes to brighten up soups, in homemade fire cider, and even as a facial toner. So many uses. Very soon, I'm going to show you the faster method for making apple cider vinegar using the mother I saved in the cupboard as a starter. It cuts your time almost in half and is super reliable. So make sure you're subscribed and have that notification bell on so you don't miss it. Until next time, let's get dreaming about gardening while we're cooking healthy with our homemade apple scrap vinegar.